A massive thank you to Phi, Neil, Noble, Lord, Big N, and the Tyrant King for subscribing to the channel. If you want to be featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone, and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 12 of Season 4 of the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yes, just 5 races to go of Season 4, and we are, very much getting into the end game of the championship. Of course, if you missed out on the last video from Monza, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. Of course, once the real-life F1 season finishes this weekend, we're going to be really diving into a whole lot more F1 content as well. At the time of recording, we are mighty close now to 25,000 subscribers as well. So if you aren't already, please do hit that subscribe, help us get one step closer. But yeah, you guys have just been insane with the support. I know I keep saying it, but it really does mean so much to me as well. So thank you all so much. But yeah, Singapore though this weekend. Yeah, spoiler alert in just a moment. So like I said, if you missed out Monza, go back and check it out. Yeah, Monza didn't quite go the way we wanted. An unfortunate mechanical failure at about half race distance means we are very much now within a slim chance of the championship. We're going to keep fighting right to the very end, but 55 points back with just 5 races to go, including this one today. We kind of need a miracle to close back up the gap to Tsunoda, Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton there. But Singapore has been a good track for us in the past. I said that about Monza last time, but it didn't quite work out. Let's see what we can do here in the Marina Bay. Well, coming towards the end then of our track acclimatization lap here from Singapore. Always a strange track you have to take setup-wise.
To have a solid handle on the lap, let's try and perfect each turn. Remember that chaining good corners together will give you a consistency bonus.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a weird track to try and come back to. I always struggle to gel with it and sort of get up to speed. But come qualifying, we should be alright. It's just a track where the hards just do not work absolutely whatsoever. There's a lot of forecast for rain, though, over the course of the weekend, so we'll have to wait and see whether that does materialise come race day, but losing a lot of time behind Antonio Giovinazzi as we come towards the end of our tyre wear run. Yeah, Gio's just going to cost us so much through these final few corners. Come on, Giovinazzi, the tyre wear's good, but the pace is not. As we head through the final corner, nothing we can do there. Let's get into qualifying then here for the Singapore Grand Prix. Right, well here we are then, qualifying day under the Singapore floodlights. Fingers crossed we can try and get this thing up towards the front of the order. Like we said, we have got maxed out aero and a maxed out chassis, which are the more important things around a circuit like this. However, Red Bull and Mercedes are looking formidable at the moment. Hamilton, Tsunoda and Max Verstappen are all absolutely on it as well. So only time will tell this weekend, as of course, like I said, does still look like there's going to be a lot of rain on race day, so tyre strategy doesn't really matter much in qualifying, if of course we're just going to be starting on the inters or the full wets anyway. But fingers crossed we can just try and use this one set of mediums to get through Q1, and then we can focus on trying to really get the most out of the car in Q2 and 3. Round in the final couple of corners though to finish off our first qualifying lap. Of course the corners just come thick and fast at you here in Singapore, so fingers crossed we can just round the final corner. What is the time going to be? It's a 33.0. Puts us just behind Bottas and Ricciardo. That should be good enough for Q2. Depends what track evolution is like, I suppose. And diving straight into Q2, there was no dramatics at the end of Q1 there. I mean, Haas, Williams now for Romeo. Well, 4 seasons into this game and they are all still way off the pace now. Again, Williams have not done a single upgrade all year. And I think, Robert Schwartzman ended up 6 seconds off the fastest time at the end of Q1 in his Haas car here. So into Q2 we go. Onto a set of the soft compounded tyres here. Pace is actually looking pretty reassuring though. So we'll wait and see. As long as we can sort of get like a mid to high 32 on this second run, or a low 32 if possible. Well, should be a fairly big pace delta between the softs and the mediums. But we'll wait and see, of course, how this lap unfolds. But we should be able to do double runs in both Q2 and, of course, Q3 if we make it. 32.7 there was just the fastest time I've seen posted. I think it was Max Verstappen, but I could be wrong. So we head out in towards the final corner, just down 1 gear, and then back him into 7th out of the final turn, and there we go, fastest.
Just put in the fastest lap. Good job.
Early on in Q2 here. That's what we like to see, but Verstappen was only 4 tenths off on those sets of mediums, so that's reassuring though to kick off the session. But we're still sat in P3 at this stage of the session, but Lando Norris is looking mighty fast as well there, which is exactly what we want to see this weekend. You know, this of course was where we watched GB take home a race victory last season, if I remember correctly, his only Formula 1 victory on return. So maybe, just maybe, we could try and go back-to-back here on these Singapore streets. You know, like I said, it has been a track that suited the car in the past. It suited us in previous games. Not my favourite track in the world, but yeah, we'll wait and see.
Left in the session.
As Norris is actually fastest on mediums, so how on earth has he managed that then at the moment? Yeah, you can see there was definitely mediums on the graphic. I think he's going out for a soft tyre run, just in case the times do come down. Come on. Just brushing the wall there, and getting very, very close to the wall there as well. Still pretty much even, though, as we head into what used to be the old Singapore sling. Over the curbing we go, very, very close to the wall on the exit. Quick but careful. So we try and get the car rotated through the hairpin. A lot of understeer on the exit, though. It's going to cost us the run all the way down the back straight. Right in the final couple of corners, though, we're still just battling out with our deltas. All big snap oversteer through the penultimate corner there, and we were lucky to hold on to that one, but that's going to be that lap completely done for then. We hadn't really improved, but it is still good enough for Q3. Well, there we go then, the end of Q2, and it is Lando Norris fastest in the session there, a 1:31.7 on a set of medium compound tyres. Is ridiculous pace from our teammate there, a 10th ahead of Sergio Perez, who, yeah, look at that. Ahead of Yuki Tsunoda on softs, Hamilton on softs, and Verstappen was 9/10 slower than his teammate on the same compounded tyres there. So not too sure how that one all worked out. But yeah, like I said, we get 2 runs in Q3. We definitely need a 31 though if we want to be fighting up at the front. Right, come on then, first run here in Q3. That was a nice brave run out of the final corner. Took a lot of curb, and hopefully it set us up to start what should be a 1:31. We need to at least set a good banker here. Just try and keep it clean and tidy. Get the car rotated through all the corners where we need it. There's a little twitch of oversteer. That was alright. Yeah, really trying to attack the curbing and run as close to the walls as we dare. You know, this track, one of the most difficult to cop a lap on F1 2021 still, I'd argue, just due to the sheer nature of all the corners that come thick and faster as we actually rub down the wall in towards Sector 2. Oh, just nudged the curb there. I had to get out of the throttle. Didn't cost me too much time. Those again, you really just try and get over the white line with one wheel. Rest it up towards those barriers as in through Sector 2 we come. That was alright. Tap the curbs. Oh, very, very deep there. That's going to be the wall. That's going to be lap basically over there. Not too sure if we picked up any damage. I think we have, yeah, the way the front's locked through the next corner. I think we picked up just a little bit of damage there. And that was very, very lucky to get away with that one. But we're going to have to try and go for our second run. Yeah, we've definitely got some understeer at the front end. I think Lando Norris might be on for pole position here. He's just set a 1:30.8. Yeah, Singapore in 90 seconds is kind of ridiculous. As we head out of the final corner, though, it is now a one-shot affair for ourselves here in qualifying, and we need to absolutely nail this one. Brake at the black box into T1, down to 4th gear. Down another 2 as you head through turn 3 there. Short shift on the exit, though. Really try and get the car over that curbing and give yourself the straightest run as you head down in towards the next turn. Attack the curbing again, and then activate the DRS as you head out onto the Raffles Boulevard. Let's see how far up or down we are at the end of Sector 1 as we brake again. Just the black box purple through that first sector is exactly what we need. But may say we're not running enough aero down in towards Sector 2. That was a lot of curb, but it actually latched the car on there and brought it nicely into the corner. And now as we head out in towards the Singapore, what used to be the Singapore sling. Brake just before the 50-metre board there. Attack the curbs on the entry. And through here, yep, that was much better. Get it rotated around there. Try to avoid that curb on the inside. And then straight run off the Anderson Bridge. On the throttle again. 3rd gear on the exit. Avoid the wheel spin. Activate the DRS. And now peel the car back over to the left-hand side as you brake just at the 100-metre board into Sector 3. Oh, a little bit of curve there. That was alright. Allowed to run those wheels just over the white line on the exit. And this corner, horrible braking zone there. Take a lot of curb on the entry. Try and ride the curb on the exit, which we have not done. And then again, just on the brakes, 3rd gear through these 90 left and then the 90 right. Half throttle, a little bit of oversteer on the exit as we try to roll on the power. Final few corners, though, of the lap. Get us close to the wall through the penultimate corner. Down the 1 gear, flick it in, final corner. Little bit of understeer up towards the line. It's a 31.9, which I'm happy with the time. But I don't think it's going to put us high at the order. No, only P8 on the grid. a second behind Lando Norris. Where was I meant to find another second on that lap? No idea where I was going to find another second on that lap, but Lando Norris basically in a league of his own at the moment. 4 tenths quicker than Tsunoda, 6.5 tenths quicker than Lewis Hamilton on one lap pace is something that not many can claim in Formula 1 there. But Red Bull's Verstappen down in 5th there, Sergio Perez in 9th place on a track that really should suit them, so a little bit disappointing to see from those guys. But yeah, let's dive in then here to the Singapore Grand Prix.
Against the spectacular backdrop of the Singapore skyline, Formula 1 returns once again to do battle in what tends to become something of an endurance race, with the notorious sauna-like temperatures in the cockpit making for an extremely physically challenging Grand Prix. We have a high risk of a safety car here today, as the abundance of tight corners mixed with these wet conditions could put a few cars off into the barriers. 23 turns then, 13 to the left and 10 to the right, make up the 3.1 mile lap of Marina Bay. It's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today, although with the sky falling as it is, perhaps sailing isn't too far from the truth. Anthony Davidson, could be a wet one today. Great to have you with us. What are your thoughts?
It is a touch damp, isn't it? Well, as a driver, there are 3 big things to worry about when racing in these kind of conditions: standing water, tyre temperature and visibility. Judging distance to the cars around you is really tricky when you're driving through the vast amounts of spray that these wet weather Pirelli tyres kick up.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Verstappen, Pierre Gasly and Ricciardo, Mr. Monaco, Perez, Bottas and George Russell, Ocon, Tsunoda, Carlos Sainz and Zhou, Stroll, Mazepin, Callum Ilott and Nicholas Latifi, Mick Schumacher, Giovinazzi, Lundgaard and Robert Schwartzman. And now it's time to head down to the track.
We're still in with a chance of winning the title. We need you to push as hard as you can in the 5 remaining races.
And it's safe to say Jeff is absolutely right. 5 races to go of the 2021 season, and it is certainly still a game on. Track is looking mighty, mighty wet, though, ready for this Grand Prix, and it doesn't look like that rain's going to shift all too much either. So I think we're going to be in for a long old race ahead of us today. The longest race in Formula 1. Could we think about no stopping it? We'll have to wait and see about that one. I'm actually going to put 1 extra click of front wing on. I'm already running pretty high wings there, so we're going to run 10-11 this weekend here in Singapore. But yeah, let's dive in then. Starting from P7, our teammate on pole. 2 title rivals of Hamilton and Verstappen just in front of us. Tsunoda started behind, 5 red lights. And it is going to be lights out, and away we go. Ooh, that was not what we wanted off the start. Again, getting into the wall as we head in towards turn 1. Big snap of oversteer, and the AlphaTauri is just going to completely squeeze us off. So we're going to have to go over here, go around what would be a normal sort of rejoin line. Thank you, Lance Stroll. And that has been an awful start to the Grand Prix. They're actually getting a warning for a collision with Sir Lance, but we have survived the opening couple of turns in the end, just about. Yeah, all the way down to P13 though, as Lando Norris does still look to be in the lead of this Grand Prix. Ooh. Big lock up under braking, struggling a bit with the brake bias. So yeah, this car does not feel comfortable early on. Going to take us a few laps to warm everything up, get used to the car as well. It's immediately trying to look around the outside of Guan Yu Zhou, who trips over himself a little bit on the exit of the corner there. We will find the room around the outside, so immediately making a bit of progress on the AlphaTauri early on here in the Singapore Grand Prix. But yeah, Tsunoda, of course, the first championship rival, who did start behind us. But now we're going to have to try and move past again. It's Esteban Ocon just in front, around the outside over the Anderson Bridge. Oh, double neutral. I'd love to be able to put some power down on the exit and around the outside of our second car on this opening lap. So it was an awful start, but we've definitely got some pace and some grip over a lot of these runners. So yeah, Lando leads at the end of lap 1. They're on a 1:54.6. So this, yeah, it's going to be a very, very long race there. We're basically 9 seconds behind him at the end of lap 1, down in P11. But Tsunoda and George Russell just in front of us. I'm sure Russell wants to make a point this weekend, of course. Tsunoda kind of snubbed him out of that seat at Mercedes. Of course, Russell had already signed with Aston Martin, if you guys remember way back to Season 2 of the My Team Career Mode. That's why Tsunoda ended up getting the Merc call-up for still whatever reason. But he started to deliver now, of course, ahead of Hamilton in the championship. You can't argue Tsunoda hasn't performed so far this season. It's been consistent and always a bit of a threat now. Oh, around the outside of Tsunoda. No, not quite going to make anything work there over the Anderson Bridge. But we are definitely going to be able to apply some pressure to the Mercedes over the next few laps. Need to try and just slowly shift our way forward if we've got this pace. I think we did definitely pick up a little bit of front wing damage at the start of the Grand Prix. It's not enough, of course, to warrant pitting early on. As you can see, we're still definitely keeping up with the back of Tsunoda and George Russell. But it's not ideal early on. Just means, obviously, through like the final sector, we drop back ever so slightly, just from all the dirty air and everything. But we're still attacking at the moment. It's just whether we sort of pit, let's say, lap 10, and then go a little bit later to the end, as all Tsunoda just braking a little bit earlier than I anticipated. Or, of course, whether we just try and stay out there and make it work.
I think we're still on the right tyres for the time being.
I don't know why Jeff would even think we might not be for a moment there. It's definitely intermediate conditions. Not worth going full wets, but certainly not ready for dries. But yeah, I'm sort of wondering, looking at the tyres, whether we could go to the end. I don't think it's going to be possible.
The lap on the car behind.
Hadn't even noticed the gap to Ocon and Guan Yu Zhou behind us, so yeah, just in no man's land at the moment. A big train forming further back. So, oh, come on. Got to try and be getting the runs out of corners like that. We've got to be sticking a bit closer to Tsunoda. If we want to try and look past him, I might have to go for a bit of a send over the Anderson Bridge soon, so we can actually start making some more progress. But make sure we stick all over the gearbox now of Yuki Tsunoda as we head down through this middle sector. Through the twisty bits we go, attack the curbs, avoid that one though. And are we going to be able to get close enough to go for a send up the inside? Oh, big lock up. But we get up the inside there, no contact.
Great manoeuvre. You made it look easy.
Team happy with that one. And I don't think we made it look easy. But we certainly made it work in the end, as we're now past Yuki Tsunoda. And I can only hope George Russell is going to be a little bit easier to navigate. The Aston Martin hasn't been a bad car for a lot of the year, but just has never really been that good either. And I mean, yeah, immediately though, we've just romped up to the back of George Russell here. We've pulled out a good second over Yuki Tsunoda. I'm sure he's going to be aware of the move we just pulled off. But is it going to try and stop us from doing the same again? It's all over the back of George Russell. He tried to go a bit more defensive there and actually went a little bit later on the brakes to try and hang on around the outside. Tiny bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, but we should be able to get the power down. And George Russell, is he going to admit defeat or is he going to try and send it?
3.7 seconds.
Tried to send it, but we were pretty even on the brakes there, so we get around the outside. Back up to 9th now. We're still not even back to where we started. Bottas 3.5 seconds up the road, so now without some dirty air, we can actually assess how much front wing damage this car's got.
Caution, caution.
Oh, yellow flag's out though. Someone's got issues up the road. Could this spice things up a little bit? Not too sure which car it is. Oh, it's one of the Mercs. So it's going to be Lewis Hamilton then, out of the Singapore Grand Prix there by the looks of it.
Information on the Red Bull driver. Right, some information on Hamilton. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
So Hamilton now out of the Singapore Grand Prix there, and that is heartbreaking for our fellow Brit there, and that might well take him out of championship contention as well. But of course, as this keeps happening to all of us in the top 4, it is all still to play for. One of the Red Bulls, I think, has issues as well. Not too sure whether that's Sergio or Max Verstappen, but could this not be over just yet? Could we still be within the hunt? And could we see others falter late on in the year? Oh, there we go. So we definitely have still got pace in the car then.
You're increasing the gap to the car behind by a few seconds per lap. Keep this up.
First lap in clean air, and immediately we go purple. This race is not over. And I mean, we shouldn't be saying that anyway, because we're already a quarter of the way in. It's going to be a proper marathon.
We're still happy that we're on the right tyres at the moment.
Jeff's still just reminding me every couple of laps he feels like they made the right decision to do exactly what every other team on the grid has done in this race. But Bottas now just in front of us. Got a really horrible run actually out of that left-hander, but we need to try and get close to the McLaren. Because again, when we're in clear air... Oh, that's going to be a lot of curb. Yeah, when we're in clear air, we've actually got pretty good pace in the car.
Rain to stay a while. Doesn't look like it's moving anytime soon.
Yeah, I think we're just going to be stuck with these sorts of conditions all day long, unfortunately. So we try to put the power down. Again, not going to get anything this time round. And then we just fall back a little bit through this final sector. The AI have got pretty good pace round here. But we're only 10 laps in. And the pace is still reassuring. Really not sure whether it's worth pitting now to try and undercut these three. Or we pit now and change the front wing and still try to undercut them. But just not convinced we'd have the pace. Is it worth a gamble? I mean, 20 laps to the end. Could we do twice as far on these tyres as we've done? They'd be pretty out of shape. But they wouldn't be impossible. We'll see if we can try and get Bottas. We'll also see what lap time this is. What times are we setting at the moment? 53, so basically 2 seconds off what I was running. So we reckon in 4 laps I could easily make up the deficit for the front wing change. Could I make the 2 or so seconds as well? I think we gamble it. I think we pit the end of this one onto a fresh set with a front wing change. Because of course that should give us a little bit extra pace as well. But we're going to then need to do qualifying laps on the restart. We should come out obviously comfortably behind Guan Yu Zhou, and I think it's Ocon that are still battling, and again comfortably ahead of those backmarker group. But I think it's worth it at this stage of the day. But again, we're pretty close to Bottas now. Ooh, don't want to do that, thank you. Scrub up against the Armco. I just don't think with the damage at the moment we can stay close enough where I need to be. And of course these tyres just starting to go off a little bit, so I think it's worth trying to take the gamble at least. Right, into the pits we come then at the end of lap 12. Luckily I thought for just a split second there Bottas might be doing the same. But nice and brave on the pit entry, just so I get it slowed down into the pit lane here. And yeah, we are going to be the first car into the box by the looks of it. Like I said, as long as we come out with some clear air, Ocon and Guan Yu Zhou, they should be comfortably out in front of us, but we're going to be miles ahead of the back marks there. You can see the Haas cars, they might end up 2 laps down on raw pace alone in this GP, but I think the only thing we can hope for is we don't get a safety car this stage of the day. 9 seconds stop, that was pretty sloppy, so we're going to have to really focus now and try and hit our marks. At the pit lane we come though.
Stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
Well, that was close. Got a warning there. But again, in the wet, that pit exit is not particularly ideal. Let's just see what we can do as we try and light up the rears, put some heat into them. There we go. A 49.2 for our first proper flying lap on this rubber. So that is exactly what we like to see. Come on, let's just keep this pace up though. It's going to be going 4 seconds faster than some of the fronters in front of us. Can we do a teammate?
Don't look like they're shifting. We're predicting at least 20 minutes of heavy rainfall. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
That wasn't the option I wanted, Jeff. I wanted teammate status.
Gap to teammate ahead is 43.1 seconds. They're on old Inters. They're in first. The time last lap was a 1 minute 51.9.
So we're running, just shy 3 seconds quicker than Lando as well. So we are definitely motoring now, and this front wing is helping us. Not as big an impact as I thought it would have, but now we're getting up towards Guan Yu Zhou and Esteban Ocon, and we'll see how much closer we can stick in the dirty air. Yep, and it's safe to say this front wing definitely helps when it comes to trying to stick near other cars, as we already having a look around the outside of Guan Yu Zhou. As we head through the final couple of corners, we've just got so much more grip than the AlphaTauri at the moment. He's not going to pit though, that's rather frustrating. I think Gasly has just come into the pit lane there. Guan Yu Zhou slaloms his way out of the final corner, and there is the McLaren of Valtteri Bottas. Come on, Guan Yu Zhou, get out, get on with it.
Don't start thinking about slicks just yet.
Around the outside of Guan Yu Zhou as he gets stuck behind his teammate there as we nudge the wall with the tyres. We have got past Bottas during all this, but we need to try and get past Guan Yu Zhou on his dead inters. Come on. Come on, we need to do it now. Gasly's got cold rubber still. This is where we need to capitalise. As we'll look up the inside of the AlphaTauri much later on the brakes. Big lock up on the way in though. But we get it slowed down.
Much lighter over the next 10 to 15 minutes. There should be more grip, but don't expect a dry track.
Oh, that's interesting then. So that should help us out though, of course, on slightly older rubber than a lot of these guys. Means we won't be losing as much there. But yeah, we haven't got the jump on Gasly like I would have wanted. And I think, yeah, Guan Yu Zhou is who's to blame for that one, of course. Oh, that was a lot of curve again. But again, Pierre Gasly now is going to be on some cold rubber. And we've got a whole front wing now to attack with as well. Always difficult to sort of work out how much damage we did have. But yeah, we just got to be careful there. Is Lando now into the pits as well? He should still comfortably be out in the lead of this Grand Prix. And he looks set to take his first victory back in Formula 1 since his return. Obviously, had so many wins last year and put up a brilliant championship challenge against the mighty Lewis Hamilton. But it just didn't quite work out for him. But he is definitely a champion in the making. So loads of cars into the pit lane as we head round the final corner. I'm sure Guan Yu Zhou is going to box from behind us. Well, we are all over the back of Pierre.
36.5 seconds.
There's Russell and Tsunoda, but has Perez got the jump now on the pair of us? Let's wait and see as we head out through turn 3. Sergio Perez on the inside there, but again, cold rubber. No confidence for him. So we go around the outside now. I'm at a P6 of the race. As that's a penalty. I'm guessing we ran just over the curb there.
Penalty. It will go against our finishing time at the end of the race.
But that's rather heartbreaking to have at this stage of the day. Fingers crossed it doesn't make much difference come the checkered flag, as now we get a really good run on Pierre Gasly. And yeah, now we've got to go for it. Oh, Gasly tried to turn under me there. A little bit of contact between the pair of us. Not the best move in the world, but well, I'm in a P5. Ricciardo 6 seconds up the road. Verstappen 11 seconds up the road. By now we've got a 3-second time penalty to worry about as well. I mean, yeah, again, you put us in clear air. We are absolutely motoring 2 seconds. Taken out of Ricciardo and Verstappen that lap. And I think, yeah, our aim today, of course, is to try and beat Max because we're already ahead of both Mercs. And just try and score as many points as we can. We've got to be consistent to the end of the year. We've got to be consistently ahead of these guys and then just pray that things kick off for them. That is the only way we're going to be able to put ourselves back in this battle. But, yeah, even if we outscore Max by 2 or 3 points today, 52 in 4 races is a tall order without a retirement.
Some information on the Red Bull driver, some information on Leclerc. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
So Leclerc's now got issues with his car, and I think he's running P2 in this Grand Prix there, so that could be really, really critical. If he can slow up Max for us for a couple of laps there, again, it said the Red Bull driver, and we don't know whether that's Perez or Max Verstappen, but yeah, if Leclerc and Leclerc and Verstappen both started having issues, that could really help us out. I don't think it's Leclerc with issues, Verstappen with issues, because he's already trying to attack Charles Leclerc in this Grand Prix, and I think has made the move work. It's held them up both a fair bit, but now Verstappen's going to be unleashed in this Grand Prix, and we need to get past Danny Rick quickly. Come on, we cannot lose sight of Max Verstappen in this race. We need to try and get past, of course, all these guys, and then build up a 3-second margin as well. As can we get a nice run here, really attacking the curbing. Ricciardo's going to allow us the open door, and just like we did on Gasly, can we have a look at the inside? Not quite that time round. Ricciardo puts the power down on the exit of the corner. Might allow ourselves a bit of a switchback on the exit. All over the back of Danny Rick, and as long as we get a good run all through here, as soon as I say that, absolutely mess up the run. Come on, we need to try and get past the Australian. We're just watching Verstappen waltz off into the distance. And he now could try and apply some pressure to our teammate Lando Norris in the dying stages of this race. Way too deep into there. Actually rubbing up against whatever that wall is. But we live to fight another day. Ricciardo now well and truly stuck behind Charles Leclerc. And we get a really nice run out of turn 3. Ricciardo goes defensive. We have a look to the outside. Oh, the Australian squeezes us there, but way too early on the anchors. And finally past Daniel Ricciardo we go in this race. Are we going to get close enough to Charles to try and look for something as well? I don't think we are, as yeah, you can already see how much Verstappen has romped away throughout all this. But now we need to try and send it on Charles Leclerc. Up the inside we go, way more aggressive. Oh, that was not the finest. She nudged the wall on the exit, but I think we got away with it. And now, yeah, we got to try and close up the gap to Max Verstappen. They're further up the road, 6 seconds clear now because of all this, as we almost actually take ourselves out of the Grand Prix. 9 laps to go. Max now trying to close up to Lando as we're just 12 seconds behind our teammate. We've got a late safety car, that could really play havoc. End of lap 24, another new fastest lap. And now we are really taking some time out of a lot of these back markers who are really getting caught up with each other. Carlos Sainz there trying to pull off a move on Christian Lundgaard as we've just got Mazepin in the way. Come on, guys. Got to get on with it. That's just cost us a lot of time behind Nikita Mazepin and Christian Lundgaard. There is Carlos Sainz next up the road. Yeah, that just cost us a good second for the guys we're battling with here. 8 laps to go. Verstappen 4 seconds in front. So much swings and roundabouts with all these lapped cars there. So that time round, we gained a lot of time on Max Verstappen over the rest of that lap. Gap now down to just 2.5 again as Latifi, not too sure if he just got a load of wheel spin there or was trying to get out of the way, but whatever happens, we're now back through. Oh, we got more yellow flags out. Someone's got issues. Is it going to be an important player or is it going to be one of the back markers? Big kick of oversteer there. It is going to be, I think it's the McLaren. I think, yes, Daniel Ricciardo, who looks to be falling to the wayside here. Late on in the Singapore Grand Prix, and the Aussie had done so well up to this point. Had really steered that McLaren through thick and thin today. But it's all going to account for nothing in the end. Charles Leclerc re-inherits P4 ahead of Pierre Gasly. And now we're all over the back of Max Verstappen here, who is trying to move his way past Lance Stroll. Will the Canadian let us both through? I don't think so. I don't think he had much choice in the end. There's no idea how we avoided the crash there. Starting just to see a couple of small mistakes creep in from Max Verstappen.
Resulting in loose debris. Fortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time and there are no plans for a safety car right now.
That was a fair warning. Accidentally turned in way too early in through Sector 3. But yeah, no idea what that incident was all about. Whether it was someone getting looped up in all of Ricciardo's mechanical gremlins. But yeah, Verstappen though is starting to feel the pressure as we head through the final few laps here in Singapore, and we need to try and open up a move. Because of course, if we get past him,
light rain conditions for the foreseeable future.
Jeff, I absolutely do not care with 4 laps to go. But yeah, Verstappen is starting to feel the pressure. We're both still taking time out of Lando, but of course, if I get past the Red Bull, I've still got to try and pull out 3 seconds on him. So we need to try and do it soon, rather than a last lap gasp attempt. Had plenty of drama here in Singapore in the past, and that certainly hasn't changed today. Of course, Hamilton, probably the big one, who now might as well be out of the Drivers' Championship hunt, just like myself. But you never know. Verstappen has reliability troubles in the last few Grand Prix. It could still all be game on. It's just still, Verstappen is just doing enough at the moment to hold on in front of me as we are pushing him along. 3 laps to go, and we are still applying the pressure to Max Verstappen there. Oh, he just gets a little bit out of shape through turn 2. Can we have a look around the outside?
On track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
Are they talking about the tiny bit of contact Max and I had then? Surely that wouldn't be enough to warrant anything, but trying to roll on the power out onto the Raffles Boulevard once more. And Max Verstappen, yeah, that Red Bull, one of the only cars that seems to be properly quick down that straightaway. If we launch it through here, though, again, can we have a look to the inside? Again, just haven't quite got enough. Max Verstappen is just doing everything he needs to at the moment to keep us just right behind him. And even if we do now get in front, we're basically going to have to do 2 qualifying laps to the end of the Grand Prix to stand any chance of even trying to build up the margin. Over the Anderson Bridge, though, we're close. It's time for a send. Up the inside of Verstappen we go, and that was a very Verstappen-esque move.
Nice move. Good job.
Again, the team happy with it. Therefore, so are the FIA. So we are now up into 1-2 in the Singapore Grand Prix, but I'm sure Max Verstappen not happy with that one at all. That was, yeah, probably on, if not over the limit. I think it's safe to say. Let me know down in the comments below your thoughts and feelings on that one. But now we've got to try and build up a 3-second margin in just 2 laps. It's not impossible, but it's going to be difficult. We've really just got to keep our head down in, yeah, 2 qualifying laps to the flag. Come on, 1 lap to go here at the Singapore Grand Prix. And the gap to Verstappen up to 2.2 seconds, 2.3. As if we ever needed to set a fastest lap, then would be the time. 1 more to go here from Singapore. Lando Norris looks comfortably set. The car has had the pace this weekend, as we'd hoped, and it does look like Lando Norris even, is going to comfortably come through to win pole position. Not quite fastest lap. That, of course, will go to ourselves, unless someone does an absolute worldie on this final lap. But what a return it has been for Lando Norris, and 2 seasons in a row it looks like our teammate is going to come out victorious here at the Singapore Grand Prix. We, however, are still trying to push, still trying to build up that 3-second margin. And I think, of course, yeah, if this was real, the team would probably be going, look, Lando, we need you to move out of the way for the position. We need the points for Matt in these final few rounds of the campaign if we want any chance of battling for that championship. Around in the final few corners here of the Singapore Grand Prix. Please don't put it in the wall now, Matt. Gap just dipped over 3 seconds there for a split moment. Really trying not to make any mistakes now. As, yeah, this could be absolutely critical come the end of the year. In towards the final sector. Just thread the needle, Matt. Just squeeze on the throttle through these final couple of corners. And we need just 1/10 of a second. There we go. Back up over 3. As we're attacking the curb still. We've got to be quick but careful through these final few corners there. And look at that, Lando Norris. Looks like he's going to be able to come through for another race victory for the team there. It's been brilliant to see for Lando Norris here today in his return to Formula 1. But round in the final corner, the gap to Verstappen up to 3.6. I think we've done enough through the final turn. And it's going to be a 1-2 here in Singapore.
Great drive, great drive. We're really happy with that performance.
So after a day of mixed fortunes up and down the field, we bring today's race to a close. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Here comes your top 3 making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula 1. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. They did a great job at getting the most out of their tyres without losing pace, something that's a very handy skill to have in modern day Formula 1.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula 1.
There we are then, guys. The end of the Singapore Grand Prix, and what a race it was. 1-2 for the team. That's exactly what we needed. Maximum 44 points this weekend after a rough few races. 4 points out of Max Verstappen as well. A lot more out of Tsunoda. And of course, yeah, 19 out of Lewis Hamilton means that if we were trying to still be in this championship battle, we are doing everything we can there. But Lando Norris back on top in the world of Formula 1 there. Myself, like we said, P2 ahead of Max, and Charles Leclerc 4th ahead of Gasly. Perez, Bottas, Tsunoda, Russell and Guan Yu Zhou rounding out the top 10 there. The 2 Canadians in 12th and 13th. And you can see the rest of your runners. Yeah, Haas, not a good weekend for them. And Ricciardo and Hamilton both not making it to the checkered flag there. Means title-wise, Verstappen still has now a 25-point lead at the top of the table over Yuki Tsunoda. It is looking very, very good for the Dutchman there. Consistency has been key for him throughout the entirety of this year. We're just 51 back and just 5 behind Lewis Hamilton at this stage of the campaign there. Perez 78 back. Gasly jumps Ricciardo though in their little battle of best of the rest there. JB still in 8th place there. Will Lando get him by the end of the year? That is the all-important question as well there, as Lando, yeah, moves up inside the top 10 now of the championship. Constructors-wise, 50 points back now as Mercedes and Red Bull, just 7 points separating them. Could we still put up a late fight for the Constructors' Championship? Only time will tell. Thank you all so much for watching this video. That has been an absolute marathon of a race. But yeah, we'll be back very, very soon. We're around 13 of the year. We head to Sochi. 4 races to go. You guys do not want to miss it. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel supporters. So a massive thank you to The Travesty, Patrick, Chuan, David, Ben, Aidan, Estasios, Kato, Sean, Johnny, McBlam, Mighty Spork, Tazief, William and Nanon for becoming channel members. If you want to be featured at the end of all these videos, make sure you just click the join button down below.